First off, let me get on here and let me say this real quick. Like, I feel like every ACC team, every ACC fan, every true ACC fan, every true ACC team has been robbed by the Atlantic Coast Conference. By college football, and strong armed by Notre Dame. And let me let you know what I'm talking about. Okay. On any given season, right? Notre Dame could beat any team in the ACC, right? And it wouldn't count as an ACC loss. I mean, it wouldn't count as that team. It wouldn't count as an ACC loss. That's not what it would count as. And the reason it wouldn't count as an ACC loss is because they're not committed to the ACC. But as soon as this pandemic happens, as soon as the pandemic and the coronavirus and everything happens, in order for them to be able to play football, they have to attach themselves to a conference. So the only reason that they attached themselves to the ACC for this year only was so they can get an opportunity to play football, to get an opportunity to make money, and get an opportunity to play for a national championship. So being independent benefits them because they're not in the conference, right? Because their football team isn't in the conference. It benefits them. So they refuse to commit to the ACC, the SEC, the Pac-12, the Big 10, the Big 12, whoever, Sun Belt, or whoever. But the one conference that folds to Notre Dame like a bunch of bitches is the ACC. The ACC. They fold to Notre Dame like a bunch of bitches. So you allow Notre Dame to come in and say, okay, for 1 year, we're going to commit to the ACC. We'll do it this year because we want to do it, because we want to play football. Because the Pac-12 wouldn't allow them to do it. No other conference would allow them to do it. But the ACC and their bitch asses allow them to do it. So what happens? What happens? And this is not just about Miami, but what happens? Miami loses to Clemson, right? But if we continue to win the rest of our games, we get a shot to play Clemson in the ACC championship game because we're an ACC team. Notre Dame is not an ACC football team. But now, Notre Dame controls their own destiny to an ACC title and a playoff berth without even being a full-time ACC football team, a 1-year ACC football team. And that's right. That's supposed to be right. This is how we're doing this. So if Clemson would have lost to Notre Dame last year or next year, that would not have counted as an ACC loss. So Clemson would still be good. Clemson would still control their own destiny, and Clemson would still be good. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Okay? That is straight up, flat out bullshit. Is what that is. How? How can we allow a team to come in and control their own destiny, right? How can we allow a team that's not even a part of the ACC come in and compete for an ACC championship just because they're the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? But next year, they won't be a part of the ACC. Next year, they'll be once again Next year, they'll once again next year be independent. And my thing is, I'm not saying Miami would have beat them. But at least if you were going to make them do that, make them play the two champions from the past two conferences. So if they had to play Clemson, they should have had to play Miami. If they had to play Clemson, they should have had to play Miami as well. They should have to beat both of them. But they didn't even do that because the ACC has no balls. The ACC has no balls. They let an independent school control the ACC. So to the ACC commissioner, you a bitch. To the ACC board of trustees, y'all are all bitches. All of y'all are bitches. That's how you know it's just about money with with football. I cannot wait till they get rid of conferences or do these conference realignments. And I pray. I would love to see Miami, Clemson, Florida State, and Florida State, Miami, Clemson, and Florida State go over to the SEC. Because at least the SEC would have the balls to tell Notre Dame, kiss our ass, you either in or you out. But not the ACC. Not the ACC. The ACC don't have those balls. The ACC won't do that because that's not who they are. And I'm disappointed in that. I'm highly disappointed in the ACC and what they allowed Notre Dame to do. They pimped the ACC for 1 year. They pimped the ACC. ACC commissioner, the ACC board of trustees, and all you motherfuckers, y'all are a bunch of bitches. Y'all are a bunch of bitches. And if Notre Dame wins the ACC this year, this will be the first year that I root against an ACC team for winning a national championship. I can promise you, I will not root for them sorry motherfucking leprechauns ever. Fuck the ACC and fuck Notre Dame. I'm out.